Okay boys, so today we will be making a video on the rifts, right? Specifically the first prologue, which is called Enter the Chaos. And essentially in this one, I will be explaining you on some of the best teams that you can use in order to beat all three of these rifts in just under 2 minutes. As you know, in order to complete both of the quests, you will need to first of all beat the boss, but then you will need to beat the boss in 3 minutes or in less than 2 minutes. So as you can see, I have completed both of them, not both of them, all three of them in less than 2 minutes, and I will showcase you the teams as well as walk you through the runs on some of the best strategies that you can do in there, right? So let's jump into each run and I'll explain first of all my setup as well as a comment over the run on what you can do in order to make sure that you succeed in this one. Alright, let's go. Okay, so starting with dead end, this will be the setup that has been used. So I have used it, basically the video was recorded yesterday, right? Or was it today? I don't even remember, right? It was a bit earlier, so the gear you see here will be a level or two higher than what I've used, right? But essentially, we are going for a very big damage route in this one, right? In the first dungeon, in the first rift, unfortunately, you don't need a lot of AoE damage weapons because in a lot of cases, especially in dungeon 1 and 3, you will mostly just run through the dungeon all the way until the boss, and then you can simply use an AoE skill or two in order to clean up all of the minions. After that, it's mostly about single target damage, and whatever chip damage that you can do will be able to deal with the minions. So in this case, we are going mostly for a single damage setup. That's why I do have speed shot as our main weapon. I will be using speed shot in all three of these dungeons. If you do not have a speed shot, if you're someone who hasn't unlocked it yet and are still trying to speedrun the dungeon, especially if you know someone who does have a speed shot in your team, you can go for something like a wall stick because no matter how many speed shots you all take, right, someone will have to tank the damage. And if everyone has a speed shot and no one has a single wall stick, it's still gonna be quite difficult. So if you don't have a speed shot, just picking wall stick will do more than enough utility in order for the rest of your teammates to carry you through the damage, right? So we have speed shot as our main weapon. We have snow globe as well as explode-o-matic trigger in order to deal with any trash minions that come before the boss, right? And for the rest of them, multi-zapper, vitamin shot, these are mostly boosts for single target boss damage. We have unstable lightning, which will help a bit with various trash waves as well. And we have unstable laser, which will be doing good damage on the boss, right? So let's jump into the run and we'll see how we do. Okay, and now for the run itself, the run is pre-recorded, right? And the strategy here is really, with the first and third raids, right? If you do want to speed run them, I would highly recommend moving straight to the boss, right? The thing is, if you all move to the boss, right, you can start hitting the boss. Even if you don't hit the boss, eventually all of the minions that follow you, right, will eventually come to the boss room. And as long as maybe like 2 or 3 of you have the snow globe gadget, you will easily be able to just kill all of the minions later on. And you can see like someone launched the snow globe, right, while we were hitting the boss, you were able to easily wipe them out, right? Now for the boss attacks, especially this boss, if you are anything like level 20 or higher, right, attacks he does will not do a significant chunk of your HP, so you are quite easily able to sustain them, right, especially his big AoE attack. There aren't a lot of bushes in this map, right, so I don't even bother hiding because here's the deal. Let's say he AoEs here, it will take me like 3 seconds to run behind the bush, it will take me like 3 seconds to run back to him, right? That is a lot of downtime when you're trying to speedrun in 2 minutes, right? It's better off to just keep hitting the boss, have that little second of downtime after you get hit, and then just dash towards the boss and continue hitting, right? So if you are trying to hit a speedrun, I wouldn't recommend running away from the attack, right? Instead, I'm gonna pause the video right here. If you see that, just like the last attack, right, I'm gonna relax it. For example, if the boss is using his AoE ability here, instead of trying to run away, right, try to find a spot where he could knock you down the least amount of distance. So for example, if I'm standing here, this is not a great placement because I'll be knocked down quite far away, right? But if I'm standing where this player White Dragon is standing, right? He will not be knocked at all, right? Because he is already bordering the bush, and the moment the boss does his knockback, he will just hit the bush and he'll still be in the boss's range, right? So unfortunately he moved, as you can see, I didn't, and when the knockback went, I didn't get any pushback at all. I did get that little half a second stun, but as you can see, look how far away the person there is, right? And look how close I am, right? So instead of dodging, just try to find a bush, a wall, anything that's closest to the boss, right, where you wouldn't get knocked away, and this way you'll be able to easily get back into the fight, especially if you are running the speedster bow. You do want to conserve that, what's it called, like the mana charge or the meter charge, whatever, in order to make sure that you are able to get back into doing a lot of DPS, right? And next up, we'll be looking into the street fight map. So this one is probably the most different out of all of the maps, right? And as you can see here, this map, the whole map is quite literally this small enclosed area, right? So you will need to change your gear a little bit compared to the first and third map, right? And while you still want to be doing a lot of single target damage, especially when the boss monsters pop up, right? You do want to have a little bit more AoE damage in your arsenal, right? So compared to the previous team, I haven't changed much apart from instead of having the multi-zapper, I opted out for pepper spray, right? So multi-zapper is a very good single target damage, but the problem with this map is there will be a lot more situations where you need to do damage to like 4, 5, 6 or more enemies at once, right? And pepper spray is just a little bit better. It still does a lot of damage if you manage to target the clouds on the boss, right? Because as you know, if the clouds land on the boss, they will be doing damage multiple times compared to just when they're going out if you shoot it at point blank range, right? So yeah, pepper spray, it does probably 2 times less damage if it were to hit a single weapon compared to multi-zapper. However, it does have a big AoE range, which will help you much more when dealing with this, because here's the deal. In order to do fast runs, you need to kill bosses fast, and with a lot of minions spawning, the biggest downtime in this map will be the inability to clear the waves fast, right? So the faster you can clear waves, even if you have a little bit lower damage, as long as the waves are dead, all of you will be able to much easier do damage to the boss after all, right? So this is the gear we have, and let's jump into the run. Okay, I'm looking at the run. As you can see in this one, if you have a pre-made party, what I found with pre-made parties is you can arrange who uses what skills a bit better. We didn't do it for this one, right? This is a pre-made party, however, we didn't arrange too much. However, for example, especially in this map, right? You can try to arrange, for example, one of the players uses the snow globe on wave 1, right? One of the players uses snow globe on wave 2, right? That's the reason why it's gonna be a little bit better, because as you can see in wave 2, both players used up a snow globe, right? I believe it was me and another player, which meant that in wave 3 we unfortunately didn't have a lot of AoE DPS, right? And it took us quite a while in order to beat all of the bosses, right? So, not the bosses, but like all of the number of minions. That's why ideally you can plan around this, right? If you are with a premium fighter, like you can say someone uses it on wave 1, someone uses it on wave 2. If you're not able to do that, you can wait a second or two once the wave starts. If you can see that someone else used the wave, you can save yours, right? This will mean that you have a second or two of downtime. But overall, the strategy is pretty simple. You clear waves 1 to 3 as well as 5 to 7. And on waves 4 and 8, you try to focus on the boss majority of the time, right? When wave 4 and 8 starts, right, like feel free to use any AoE abilities you have, but try to be hitting the boss at the same time as your priority, right? Because here's the deal. You will be able to easily wipe whatever minions spawn alongside it, right? But it will be very difficult to do a lot of single target damage in time if you are focusing, especially your single target attacks on these random minions, right? So yeah, we beat it in 153. I'll just give you a quick showcase on what everyone used so you can see. Speedster, single target AoE. This one had a wolf stick, amazing for ensuring that we are able to tank. This one, a lot of AoE damage as well, and the setup I had, right? So yeah, a lot of AoE damage, but also make sure to always be hitting the boss if you are able to do so. And here's the damage breakdown. As you can see, speed shot, majority of the damage. Unstable lightning and snow globe are doing work when it comes to wiping a lot of the random minions, and Explodomatic is also helping out a lot when it comes to especially waves 1 and 5, where a lot of lower HP enemies spawn, because once you kill one enemy, they can start a chain reaction and just kill everyone quite easily, right? Oh, it looks like I made a small mistake in when I was explaining the gear session. Instead of the vitamin shot, I did use the multi-zapper, right? It seems like I have recorded myself picking vitamin at first, right? But later on I switched to this, probably seeing that I was I think getting more damage from the multi-zapper as opposed to just vitamin shot. So yeah, I did go for the multi-zapper. Apologies for that mistake, right? And let's go to the third one, right? Okay, and lastly, let's talk about the Overlord's Chamber. The strategy with this one is very similar to Dead End, right? The general idea behind it is you, again, skimp through the whole map, right? All the way until the boss, and when there, you try to AoE the minions that follow you from those tunnels, right? While still trying to hit the boss with a lot of your single damage abilities. Again, like the strategy is very simple. The difficulty will, of course, be a little bit higher due to the higher difficulty of the boss, right? But yeah, this is the gear that I'm running. Exactly identical as the second rift, right? We're still running pepper spray, multi zapper, and snow globe. Uh, Again, like multi zapper and vitamin shot can somewhat be interchanged. It sort of depends on which one you prefer the most, right? For me, what I found is that vitamin shot, it usually will give me much nicer damage as well as provide some healing, right? However, because it has a lower cooldown and it depends on the basic attack, in case, for example, when I click the button, it of course has like half a second of downtime on my basic attack, right? So it misses out on the damage there. It also has a lower cooldown, which means I'm able to shoot my bow less because I have to keep clicking that button. I mean, I'm working on that, but yeah, for now I've opted out for multi-zapper, but vitamin shot is just as good of an option if you don't like the multi-zapper, right? And now for the run itself, you'll see a very similar strategy. As soon as the game starts, we are trying to run all the way to the boss. You can try to wave clear as you go. The thing is, this map is much shorter, and I'm gonna stop it in just a second, right? Uh, Once you get to this spot, honestly, if you see that you are having trouble dealing with the trash waves, I would stop here, clear all of the trash waves, right, while away from the boss, and then move towards the boss, right? However, if you feel like a lot of you have something like snow globes or pepper sprays, explode-o-matics, right? If that is not the case, you can proceed to the boss. It's just in cases where you are not running any healing like I am, right? It can be a little bit difficult to deal with, especially if you see like your other allies are not catching up to you. If you go to the boss, you will be receiving a lot of damage from the boss as well as all of those minions, which can kill you as this class of vessels, right? But overall, once you deal with the crash waves, the strategy is very similar. The only problem with this boss is he does spawn a decent chunk of minions as the battle progresses, so ideally you will want to have snow globes on at least like 2 or 3 of your teammates, right? If not that, you can try for other AoE damage abilities like pepper spray, explode-o-matic, stuff like that, right? Because explode-o-matic will be able to deal with these quite easily. A lot of these are small minions, and as soon as you kill one of them, the one next to them will take like half of their HP bar usually. So even if you are really running speed-o-matic as your main DPS, you are still actually able to deal with those small minions quite efficiently, right? But apart from that, yeah, just try to target the boss. If you see that the boss spawns minions, try to move in such direction that your speed-o-matic is still hitting the boss, right? If possible, of course. And for multi-zapper users, obviously only try to use it when only the boss is present, so you do not hit any of the minions, because trust me, the minions will die much faster. You want that multi-zapper damage to go on the boss only, right? And yeah, 1 minute 47, unfortunately 1 second off the best record, but yeah, here's what we had. So we have the portal plus ice, which is amazing for dealing with AoE, right? Wolf stick and 2 speed-o-matics with help as well, right? So yeah, that's the general idea with it. Hope you enjoyed, and yeah, peace.